Hi, Carlos.
Hi, Tonya. How are you?
I
Hi,
am doing
Sundog.
great.
Good evening, Carlos. Lovely to meet you.
Tell me, Tonya. Tell me.
We're ready to go. We're live. Again, when we put out the microphone, when you grab the microphone, just know that you're being recorded, and also we're being live streamed. And I'm also recording it. I'm recording on two different platforms. One, I am beta testing. The other one, I like to.
Oh,
Excited about this.
okay, perfect. So, as always, you are setting up your preparations are just like the taking off of the space shuttle. I remember the space shuttles. You are like a space shuttle in this space every time. Wow. I mean, I think I am a kind of the most useless copilot in the technology area. Thank God my area
No, you
is
bring the
fucking.
laughter. Stop it. You bring the laughter. Kidding
Thank
me?
God.
Here, I'm
Yeah,
gonna have
thank.
like.
Oh my goodness, you have the little new toy. Oh, that's a danger in your hands.
Well, I
Wonderful.
think we all have it, don't we? Isn't it part? If you have an iPhone, I think you have it. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to our NFTs for a cause. I think this is our episode. What episode is this, Carlos? Is it 24? No, 25. It's our episode 25 actually. We have been excited about this. We've featured a lot of new projects. We love being the one that featuring them in the early days of the project. One of them is Charlie, who is in the space. We're going to have him come back because he has another project to share with us. And then Carlos and I have been doing this since January, and we have had the best time. And so we made a website. It's called NFTsForACause.space. So if that's where we're going to be blogging about each of the projects. And so right now, I work with is a virtual film festival with Gino and She Crypto. And so we have been talking offline. Sundog and I have been out talking offline, and he does this already. Before that, I'm not going to go into full detail. I'm going to have him tell you guys everything, but I'm just thrilled that he finally has created an NFT project for this. I don't know. Would you call this your passion project? Because you were helping the local kids, giving them food from your farm.
Yeah, no, basically, before lockdown, I'm a cinematographer. I work in the film industry, all I did. And about 6 months before lockdown, I live on a farm. At the time, I had two timber wolves. Sadly, they've passed away. So I needed lots of space. So I moved onto this farm, and I'm surrounded by lots of farmlands. So I was inspired to put my fingers in the ground and grew an organic farm. And then when lockdown happened, some friends of mine in the film industry approached me to supply some soup kitchens for them. And then I did that for the first year, and then that fell apart. So, there's politics involved in these kind of operations. That's why I've stayed away from it. And yeah, so we've been continuing it now with another foundation, got hold of me, and we've been doing it. So it's 3 years now. Are we
Where are
getting
you
rugged?
Where are you located?
I'm in Cape Town, the mother city.
Oh, Cape Town. That's Cape Town is near Johannesburg. No.
We're 2,000 kilometers away. So we're right at the point of Africa, right by between where the two oceans meet. So the Atlantic Ocean and the Indian Ocean meet here. So some days you can go
Oh,
and stand at the point and you can actually see the two different colors of the oceans in one line. So you've got like the bright blue of the cold Atlantic and then the greener,
oh
warmer
my
ocean. It's
goodness.
beautiful, yeah. Uh, And
Wow. That's
our farm is right in the city almost. I mean, I'm about 23 kilometers away from the city, and we're surrounded by farmlands. It's like a hidden space in the middle of sprawling places, you know. So it's wonderful. There's no fences, you know. It's a whole different kind of lifestyle, and I really enjoy it.
And do you have the help of, I mean, young people or any kind of people help you getting involved into the farming? Are you doing just like a farming job? Of course. So do they want to learn or because, for example, city kids here in Caracas, I am in Venezuela in South America. Many of the kids don't have the slightest idea of how you grow a tomato, and if they go to a farm, it's just like going to Disneyland, you know, like a what? Oh, look at this! Oh, wow, this plant because you know they are like encased here in this cement city, and there are some parks and stuff, but farming is not the same that going to a park. So, is there any kind of that activity, are they curious about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That is very sad. I've come across that as well. You know, people think that a tomato grows yesterday and you get it in the shop today. They don't realize it takes 3 months, you know, for most vegetables to grow. Other ones can take up to 6 months. Um, yeah, so there are foundations and farms that do outreach like that. I don't personally on my farm. I'm too small, you know. I studied permaculture when I was younger, so I have some experience in it. So that's why I thought I could try it. And I thought, well, I'm a film producer. Let me see if I can produce food. And it went very well through lockdown. And obviously in lockdown, it was everybody needed deliveries and stuff. So it really it kind of blew up and it got quite big. And then now after lockdown, it's all fading away, and it's quite difficult for the farmers, you know, with the war and stuff. Um, Everything's doubled in price. Like the guana, the guana we get mostly from Russia and stuff. That's all doubled and tripled in price. So the world is about to experience a massive explosion of costs for food because the farmers are getting nailed. You know, no, the prices don't go up in 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 equivalence to what it's cost to grow food. Um, so it's quite scary and it's very difficult. You know, it's like now just for this Munchkin project that I've been doing, I take and deliver like a bucky load of veg every week to Mama Mickey and her kids, and the the petrol costs in the last year and a bit have doubled. So everything's doubling, which means that the income for the foundation to actually supply the veg, because I can't grow it all. Obviously, I'm way too small. So I do buy it from an outsource from the farms around me, so organic farms and non-organic farms. But because we're based on an aquifer, they're not allowed to use all the hectic pesticides and stuff. Sure, they use pesticides, but there's quite a lot of restrictions, which is very good. So things are changing and growing, but you know, farmers are hardy people. You know, just and like speaking to my neighbor, he's an old man. His family's been farming for 3 generations. He's got like 60 hectares of irrigated land. And even though the governments don't help, you know, and it's hectic, he just carries on. It's a calling. So it's a certain kind of person that puts their hands in the ground. And they're lovely people. So yeah, um, absolutely. That's what it really is. You know, we just keep doing it. And the thing about watching something grow and seeing something grow is something that these kids will not necessarily. Well, even the kids we supply, you know, they have no idea what it takes. They'd rather go and play TV games or something, you know, and let mom cook. So I think it's very important that people educate their children, teach them to grow stuff at home, even it's fun, you know, like an avocado pip or something small, just to encourage the touch of nature. You know, nature is a very powerful entity, and the more you dig into her, the more she digs into you. So it's lovely. It's a two-way street.
Well, nature is really healthy too, by the way. It's good for you because I think we spend so much time online that we're not touching sand, dirt, just grass. So even seeing the sunlight is such a big thing. And with the pandemic and people being locked down, and now we're dealing with a global recession. A lot of people kind of like don't know what else is going to happen next. But this is exciting that you're doing what you're doing, and the government doesn't offer it. And so, can you walk us through your process as far as who is for the type of like your NFT project? What's going to happen? I think you're going to talk about it on Wednesday, right, on your space. And this is kind of like a little sneak preview that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, you know, I entered the NFT space a year ago, and a lot of people all offer to sell their art, and we'll give 10% donation here and 10% there, and that really worried me because being somebody that's involved in actually supplying produce and things to people, it's not as easy and flippant as people say. And we spoke about this, Tanya, a long time ago, and I was hesitant to get involved in a project like this because of the possibility of how big it could get, and that creates a whole other logistical nightmare in a sense. I mean, I know for myself, just once a week having to fill up a truckload of veg, go and get it, source it, pack it, take it, deliver it. That's a good afternoon just for one organization that we're delivering and feeding 350 people a day for that week. So I've been very wary about it, but I knew it needed to be done. But at the same time, the foundation has been supplying good enough. But now, for the last month or so, every time I see Mama Mickey, there's problems. There's not a lot of the finances not coming from overseas that people have been helping her and stuff. So I've started to think more about what I could do. And I take a lot of photographs of the kids and stuff when I go because they're so beautiful. I mean, they're all abused kids that are part of her organization and stuff, and they're tiny. Some of them are really tiny, and they're absolutely incredible. And so I don't want to use the photographs of these children, these people, as the tokens. So I wasn't sure what to do, and I knew I had an image in my head of what a Munchkin token could be, but I would need to approach some other artists to do it. And I did approach an artist about a year and a half ago, and he's like a top mural artist here in town. We used to be good friends, and he was going to do a mural on her home, and he let me down. So then when I stumbled into AI art technology, and I've known about it for a long time, and some of the guys in my collective, that's all they really deep dive and do. So luckily I got an invite to Midjourney, which is a top AI platform, and invite only at the moment. And I got to play with it, and I thought, well, let me see if I can create some imagery that I feel could work for this project. And this is what's happened. So I'm completely blown away by what it represents, what it can be. The idea for Munchkin kids of the world is just that. I would like to do tokens of every single nation's children with different kinds of vegetables, and all showing happy, healthy imagery. And the AI and myself seem to do pretty well together. So I've decided to give it a shot and see where we can go. Mama Mickey is desperate too. She's been sponsored a new home for the elderly and stuff that she looks after. There's a guy here in Cape Town that runs a hemp project. So her first kitchen was donated to her by this hemp project. So the kitchen is built out of hemp. So we want to build a hemp house for her new project, but that's already donated. So she's always talking about getting the land and stuff, and so that's the aim in the long run. If we can get to that size of the thing, sure. But ultimately, it's just to help line the weekly deliveries that we have, and see what comes of it. And since I've spoken to her in the last couple of days and sent her some of these photos, you can't believe her response. She's such a wonderful woman. She's elderly now, and so I'm just really happy to be able to try and explore this and see where it goes, and actually try and tackle the NFT realm in a different sense and do something more with the AI, maybe even collaborate with AI artists, because I'd like to do a large kind of, compared to a generative PFP drop, but completely individual art. So not generated through an algorithm like that, but each profile pic will be generated through us, for myself, and if I get into collaboration with other artists, because if I want to do a large collection, it's going to take quite a while. So I have spoken to the foundation that I work with, and they're very keen. Turns out her husband is very curious and keen on the whole NFT and crypto realm. So it looks like we should have liftoff pretty soon, which is very exciting.
That's fantastic because when we first talked offline, when we were DMing each other, I just for some when you were telling your story on Virtual Film Festival, I was just kind of wondering, why aren't you doing an NFT project about this? And then when I saw your post, I was just so excited about it, and and I was like, let's talk about this. We actually just agreed like late yesterday to do this space. So I appreciate you for just trusting us and jumping on here. I know you're going to be talking about on your own space on Wednesday, where I'll be joining in too. But I'm just so happy that you're here to be able to talk more about it. So why Munchkin Kids as the name of the? Because I love that name. I mean, I freaking love that name. But how did you come up with that?
Well, that's another whole story. Do you have time?
Oh, we have it. I'm
I'm just
recording everything, so.
I'm just kidding.
Hey, you only have, hey, we are very strict here. You only have 45 minutes for telling us the story of that name. 45 minutes only. Go ahead. Almost an hour. Come on.
All right, I'll be swift. Okay, so basically, when I moved onto this farm, it's a horse farm, and like I said, I had 2 timber wolves, and one of the horses' name was Munchkin, and he was this very beautiful ex-race horse, because all the horses on the farm here are rescued, retired race horses. And my 2 wolves got on exceptionally well with Munchkin. My girl would almost lie between his legs, kind of thing, and he had this beautiful heart, a white heart on his forehead. So if you go onto the Munchkin, I called my organic farm Munchkins because Munchkin passed away. And after that had happened and certain things were passed in life and stuff, I decided to rent a piece of the land here and start this project. And Munchkin is buried in that field. So I decided to call the project Munchkin. And Munchkin is very like Munchkin food. The original logo is of his head with a carrot in his mouth, kind of thing. It also plays on children, the Munchkins. We're all Munchkin. We love each other. So Munchkin became the name of the farm. And then when now I work with the kids, they kind of like my Munchkins. I go and I see them every week. And, sometimes we drop off 1.5 tons of baby marrows. I mean, some weeks are quite extreme. We get a lot of donations as well from the local farmers around us. And some weeks it's a little bit less, and especially now in winter, then the excess and stuff is harder for me to supplement the foundation's contributions. So yeah, Munchkin, that's where that came from.
It's really
I
a
love
great
that.
name.
Yeah, no, it's a lovely name, and I think I finished that before 45 minutes. There we go.
Yeah,
No, that's wonderful
exactly.
name. Actually, I love that name. It's an incredible and like it kind of like the way you did it. I mean, I don't know. My sister used to love this thing. These dolls called Cabbage Patch dolls. They kind of remind me a little bit about it. Does
Yeah,
anybody remember
yeah, I
Cabbage
saw
Patch
that.
dolls?
Absolutely, yeah. That somebody else mentioned that to me as well, and especially because of one of their first tokens with the cabbages on her head. Um, when I was practicing my prompting for the AI art, and one of the photographs, in Africa, the African people like to carry things on their head. And I've got this beautiful photograph of one of the kids holding this cabbage. And some of the cabbages we deliver are very big. They're large cabbages. And some of them are bigger than the kids, really, And there's this one photo of him carrying this cabbage on his head. So I started off with a prompt saying that, and the computer misunderstood me a bit and kind of turned it into a headdress. So that's how that came about. Yeah, but it's very much like the Cabbage Patch Kids in a sense. I don't know the story and I don't know the action or the narrative of that project. But yeah, I can imagine it's similar.
So the AI created even the image of the kids. They're so cute.
Yeah, no, they came out exceptionally well. I'm very, very impressed with it. And the thing is, because I'd like to do every nation of the world's children, so my profile pic is a Viking kid because my ancestors are Vikings. So I started out with the Africans and then I went on to the Vikings. And as it grows, I want to do every nation of the world. So we will do, Chinese, Japanese, French, and whatever the AI envisions that to be, it will be. And then I can have different genres. So like the Vikings with strawberries and cabbages and carrots, and that all be a little bit individual, and then maybe as we build it into a token thing, then the uniqueness and the rareness can be of the different vegetables that are harder to grow, easier to grow. So that kind of thing can be built into the project, So it's yeah, I'm just brainstorming as I go, and I'd be curious to hear of any kind of ideas that you guys have or the audience has of how it can be done. I know Chris, a good friend of mine who's down there in the audience, he is always very keen on collaborations, and so I'm looking at all sorts of things. But like we say, it's literally very early days that I've committed to doing this.
Yeah, my cousins they have a farm in Vietnam. So whenever you get to Vietnam, let me know. They got a whole farm. They got a lot of coffee beans. They have a whole coffee bean farm, coffee and black pepper and turmeric. That's their staple crop that they grow. But so I always laugh because, and also turmeric is such a big thing now with a lot of people as far as health. But yeah, let me know whenever you go to Vietnam. I'll hook you up with my cousins.
Well, I don't need to go.
Excuse me, just a second. Can we go back to the subject, NFT subject, because I'm getting hungry. You're talking about so many delicious things. I'm getting hungry here. Go ahead, keep going.
Because if you did your
Tonya,
project based on all the kids in the world, right? But each country has different specialty crops that they're known for. Like in Vietnam. I mean, most people they know is Vietnam's tea and coffee, and I don't think people realize there's black peppers is a big crop for us over there too, and cinnamon. I mean, cinnamon's huge in Vietnam. So as far as because I think that's one of the top place in the world to get good cinnamon.
I think that's absolutely fantastic. And that's why spaces like this and talking in collaboration, innovation just explodes. The moment you said that earlier about the different nations and their crops, I sparked it. I suddenly realized that's it. Um, in my mind, I keep going, okay, sure, there's how many vegetables do I know around me, but it's got nothing to do about around me. It's got to do about, like you say, the individual nations and those kids and what they are used to and grow up with. And thank you so much for that. I will absolutely incorporate that into the project. And that just means I'll have to do a lot more research. It won't be as easy as 1, 2, 3. But nothing in life should be done just 1, 2, 3. So, yeah, 4, 5, 6. Thank you so
I'm gonna
much.
send you
I love
some
it.
link because I'm quick. I found some a bunch crop by country, staple food crops of the world. National Geographic Society they published this May 20th, so they talk about all the different types of crops from all over the world. So yeah, there's tons. I mean, the sky's the limit, and if you focus on different countries, and also look at each country's celebration too, you can launch your each country based on what they're celebrating for that month.
Absolutely. And what I'm curious to see is how the AI interprets different nations. Has it has it been taught what the different nations are? I suppose it scours the internet, so it has an idea of all these things, but it's very curious, and it's a very exciting project. It's completely distracted me from my film that I'm actually building. I haven't done anything for it for a while. I'm just focusing on this pretty much, and it's fun. It's great, and it's actually a good distraction. 2 months of focusing on a steampunk cowboy movie with AI, and it's just it's fun. It's great, but as artists, we need to have 2 or 3 paintings going at the same time, and I think that's how we create beautiful art. And I'm just very lucky and happy to be in a space like this where I realize that the community are very supportive of these kind of projects, and I just would really like to implement it and do it really well, so that it touches people's hearts, and maybe they learn something from the token. Maybe each token has a different attribute, in the sense of, like you say, the different vegetables, but also, is it biodynamically grown? Is it look into certain things like that? Some of the, I don't know, but yeah, absolutely, it's quite a mind-blowing thing if I think about it. When I say Munchkin Kids, then it's like a small project. When I say Munchkin Kids of the World, then it's like, okay, there's a whole different ball game.
Like, for example, in Venezuela, it's known for bell peppers, onions, and calabaza. Is that correct, Carlos?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, calabaza. But in Venezuela, for calabaza, there is another name, which is auyama. Auyama is actually the name for the pumpkin. Calabaza is more in Spanish in Europe, but here in Venezuela we call the calabaza auyama. That's the real name. What Snoopy and Charlie Brown use in Halloween and got to make the candle faces and stuff. And I wanted to ask Sundog if you can repeat how the AI tools that you're using, what kind of language are you using? How do you adapt? How do you get in contact with artificial intelligence? Because I understood that an artist let you down, so you trying to gain time, you try to solve by itself. But I mean, it's so easy to get, because I have not even dare to get close to artificial intelligence, because I'm 61 years old now, and I have been watching a lot of changes in technologies and stuff. But for me, artificial intelligence is just like 2 big words. I mean, it's something like, I think it's like I am very good at Photoshop, for example, but that's where my box stopped. I mean, I cannot go much further than that. Can you connect, I mean, artificial intelligence to Photoshop somehow?
Absolutely. I really encourage you to look into some of these apps, and the basic start of AI is text to image. So the entry level is very easy. It's poetry in a sense. It's descriptive texting that you can create. Then you're talking to the brain. So it's like, you write in a description of an image that you want, and then the AI gives you back an idea and a feeling of it. Then you go into different levels of different AI artists where, yes, they get involved in Photoshop, and then they merge them into a variety of different AI tools. And it's a growing and a massive genre. And I think it's very beautiful, and the capabilities of it are exceptionally beautiful. I personally don't have any fear of AI. I made a film about 7 years ago or something, when Facebook, the chatbots, they switched off the chatbots because the 2 chatbots were asked to do an exchange. And these 2 chatbots were chatting away, and they couldn't come to an agreement of how to barter. But then all of a sudden, they started speaking in their own language. And the scientists couldn't understand this language. But in that language, which comes from the latent space, they could create a barter. And so Facebook and humanity, excuse the language, they shat themselves. So they switched these bots off. And I thought that was quite indicative of the mind of humanity. They're terrified of everything and their own sentience. only humans have sentience and animals don't. But we're going off topic a bit here. But so I created a short film saying how this technology is actually beneficial, and it's only humans that create the non-beneficial out of any tool we have. I can carry a gun on my farm here, but don't have to necessarily use it to destroy anything. Not that I ever carry any guns. It was just an extreme example because it's an extreme technology that we're involved in. But I do suggest you have a look at it. If you do use Photoshop and stuff, it's a wonderful tool. I suggest you start off with Google Colab and some of the notebooks. We can chat, in DMs and stuff, and I'll send you some of the links. There's a lot of the other cheaper free ones, like Womble and things like that you can get into, but rather start with something that's going to give you an ability to actually expand your knowledge and create better art. And it's gonna go a long way. It's gonna be in the schools, and like now, literally this evening, I'm using it to create maps. I'm not using it necessarily for pretty art and stuff. I'm starting to use it for maps and things for my film projects and that. So yeah, and I fell into it because I'm surrounded by it at the moment. Yeah, it would be silly not to try and explore it, and I'm hooked. We all degens and all my AI friends out there that are teaching me so much. We don't sleep. It's a big joke. We literally don't sleep much anymore. You're just continuously creating and merging and creating art. And like in my film, what I'm doing with it is we take my film, which is a realistically live action film. We run it through an AI, which then gives it a look, and then we take it back, and then I cut it up again and remerge it back with the originals. But yeah, Munchkin kids. Well, let's help change the world, one meal at a time.
Let me tell you something. I am envious. How do you say envious? Bios of your brain, because
Envious.
imagine envious because you are working with the oldest thing on earth, which is planting food. Okay, that's one of the oldest thing in the history of humankind, and at the same time, it's just like you half of the time you are with the oldest activity, and the rest and the other half you are with the newest activity, which is AI. It's incredible because you're coping with both extremes of the historical humankind stuff. I don't know how to explain it, but you get the idea. It's incredible. Let me tell you something. In my work, working with stand-up comedians and giving courses and lectures and being a consultant, the closest I've been to AI was a friend of mine who is a comedian, and he was close to a project to try to get this artificial intelligence to actually create jokes. Okay, so working with them, they started to create sentences and working different approaches and how to feed the computer with the words or sentence necessary to have actually a really artificial intelligence created joke. And it happened a few years, just like 2 years or 3 years ago, that the artificial intelligence actually produced the first joke ever in history, 100% originated in one artificial intelligence machine. And you know that the joke is great and it's wonderful because it says one human, this is the joke created by the artificial intelligence. It says, one human asked a computer, can you create a very good joke through artificial intelligence? And the machine said, yes, we can create a very good very good joke, but you have to be a robot to understand it. It was the answer of the machine. I did love that. Just like, yes, we can create humor, but you have to become one of our own to understand. But that was the joke that the machine was creating. It was being sarcastic. I just couldn't believe it that they could reach that level. but it was only with words and with ideas. But what I see, I really, the texture of your pictures has me mesmerized since this afternoon. Can you see? You remember? You have been me. I've been all this afternoon talking about your drawings and the things you do, and I cannot believe that this is related to artificial intelligence. It looks so feel with so much feeling, the colors, the faces. It's a stunning work. I congratulate you heavily and with all my heart.
Thank you so much. I've been lucky enough to work with an exceptionally talented AI artist on my film for the last 2 months. So I've learned some skills in scripting, but for me, it's a subliminal text, you know. Um, and yeah, I like pretty things, so I'm happy the imagery comes out like it is. But I can imagine how this intelligence can be used in the future for farming, how it can actually help with crops and stuff in a sense, and where it will go. But that's completely out of my realm. I don't know. I'm just a farmer making art.
Hey, Charlie, how are you? So it's about almost 7:40. We will be shutting down the space at 8 o'clock sharp. So if you have any questions, please go ahead and request the mic. And again, you are being recorded and being live streamed, and also we're going to be cutting up some snippets and sharing it out. So just want to let everyone know. And hi, Charlie, how are you?
Hey, hi there, Tony. How are you? I just came here to say hi and shout out to you. Just it's a great space, just to support, just NFT creators who care about the other supporting community or just like NFT for the cause. It's amazing thing what you're doing. And yeah, just, I'm also always, just always thinking to be more altruistic, just from point of my view. So like, yeah, we can talk a lot in later, just but just now, right now, I just wanted to say hi to you and the Carlos, and yeah, just, that's it.
Yeah,
I think, I
so
guess.
Charlie's going to
Hello,
have to have.
Charlie.
Yeah,
Hey,
this is
nice to meet
Charlie's
you.
been on our space before featuring his project, and I think he has another project we're going to be talking to him soon about. So, um,
Yeah,
so glad to see
I
you,
was just
Charlie.
I was just going to ask Charlie what, because you mentioned that earlier. I was going to ask what are the projects that he's been up to.
Oh well, I'm not sharing the project, but anyway, if you're asking, well, the project name is like the Hedgehogs NFTs. So several weeks ago, I got the idea. So I wanted to support some other artists too. So Antonia, she knows that I can draw, but like I choose another person, just for as an artist. So I am also from the technical background. Tony also knows that. So well, I made a whole other things except the art. The art itself made by the girl artist. So then we split everything through the smart contract, and we donating 40% to the charities. And you can read it on the or just DM me, and I will tell you everything if you are interested. And yeah, that's it.
Fantastic. I'll have a look at your profile. I'm sure I'll find all your links there. Yeah, it's good. I think everybody should be doing a little bit in life, you know, even if it's not in big organization or projects like we're trying to do every day. A little bit helps everywhere, and it lifts your own spirit. I think it makes you a calmer person, and compassion is a wonderful power. You know, it's a very powerful, patient thing.
Yeah, of course, that's amazing. Just I just there are three of us, so I just split it between us like 20 percentage, and the 40 goes to the charities directly, and even that charity, we I was talking with them, and yeah, we made it through the smart contract. And, yeah. I think whole NFT project shall be like that, based on some charities. So like that we can bring some positivity in this world, just sharing some love or support, just that's a great thing. So not just directly spending time to buying and selling things, just need to make some great project and through that great project support people's through smart contracts, which is unchangeable. That's it.
Yeah, I think being involved in your community and helping others is the key to everybody, to anyone's success. I feel like if you empower others, you go up too. Because I used to speak at it's called down here at Florida International University FIU, and I did a whole lot talk about networking. And a lot of people didn't quite. A lot of them didn't understand what I was talking about. But they just thought they go to networking to give their business cards away, just see what they can get out of it. And I'm like, no, you should go to a networking and try to find 3 people you can help. And boy, that did not go over. They were like, what? Why would I want to go somewhere and help people? I'm saying you're gonna grow a lot faster because just think about it. If you stand next to someone and if you stand there and say, "Hey, everybody, come talk to me because I'm so great," no one's gonna come talk to you. But if you stand there next to someone and say, "Hey, come talk to her because she's great," or "Come talk to him because he's great," let's find out what he's doing. People will surround you. They will want to know more about you because you're helping others. So when you empower others, great things happen for you. So that's why I love what you just say, Charlie. It's so important, and that's why I think Carlos and I, we did the NFTs for a cause because we wanted to see what NFT projects are doing and what they're giving back and how can we help them, because I feel like when you do a project, it seems easy, but it's not. Charlie will let you know too. It's a lot of work, a lot of long hours. You don't sleep. And so when I talk about different projects, I always think about different people I meet along the way. But Sundog's project, I really am thrilled that he's here and talking to us about it. But I want to let you know about your film, the one that you where we met when I was producing Virtual Film Festival. Whenever you guys are ready to launch, I want to give you a pitch because there's this restaurant in my town in Boca Raton. It's called Rex Baron, and the whole thing is about it's really interesting. It's called the Survivor's Kitchen VR Lounge, and I
What's
just feel like
Survival Kitchen? What's
it's
that?
called Rex Baron. It's they spend a lot of money, and it's this very exclusive restaurant, and it's not exclusive, but it's just very high end. It's in the mall, Town Center Mall, and it's like $1 a minute to rent a VR, so they're always busy. But when you get a chance, I'm gonna pin up his. I think Brent did it earlier for me, but I'm gonna pin it up. But I just felt, when you talk to me about your movie project when we first met, it didn't even dawn on me. But while we're talking, I'm looking and I'm thinking, wow, Rex Barron should be part of this. So if you ever have a preview or do something, I'd love to pitch them about it because I think it would go hand in hand with that film.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. Yeah, we can definitely chat about that. That's another exciting project, and I am enjoying it. It's blowing my mind. The art. I mean, look at my profile pic. I sometimes can't stop staring at it myself, and I kind of try and tell myself that's how gorgeous I was when I was younger.
So I just pinned it to the nest if you guys want to take a look at it as a sample of it. So it's about 7:45. We have about 15 minutes. If anybody wants to go ahead and ask some question, go ahead. And did you ever think you were going to become a farmer?
I, absolutely. It was always a dream to have a farm. When I was younger, like I said, I studied permaculture when I was in my 20s. But then life takes its turns, and I ended up getting into film. It was a creative realm. I studied fine art, and I thought, well, let's work in the creative realms and stuff, and it's good money. And then it took a while in life to get back to it. So yeah, I always felt I would. I think everybody should grow something. Like I say, even if it's just an avo pip at home, the wonder and the joy of this little creature that's coming up, and it really enlivens people, and they should do it in all the schools. We've managed to get a school here in my area that's right in the heart of gangland. I'm surrounded by ganglands, like serious ganglands, kind of like the Reds and the Blues. I don't know much about them, but we've got some of the most dangerous gangs in the world here as well, and they surround our farmlands. But in a sense, they're not looking at to the farmlands; they're looking out towards the cities. So we're quite safe here. Um, and what happened in the school is the one friend of mine. He's a major philanthropist. He created a foundation called the Homestead. So that's all for homeless people, so they can go and get a bunk, every now and again, and something to eat. And he took a look at the schools, and he thought, all these kids' parents work on the farms, and they go to the schools, and if they're lucky, they can go out and get a university education or something. And but a lot of them just end up becoming farm workers again, and he felt that that's not a good path. So they've managed to change the school into an agricultural school. We've built a whole big organic farm on it, and so they're pushing that forward. The first thing when they called me in as a consultant to see how we could, how they could take a school structure and start educating organic farming, because a lot of the traditional agriculture is traditional agriculture, and they're still using all the pesticides and stuff that is carcinogenic. The more you eat of it, the worse it gets. And I walked into the school, and it's an aquifer, yeah, so it's kind of like sandy desert area. And the first thing I said to him, I said, you need to put 1,000 trees into this property. And 2 days later, there was 1,000 trees, So, and they're all fruit trees and all sorts of different trees. And now these kids can go and work in the garden themselves. They have school projects that they have to do to grow things, and it's I think that's the way the world's going. And you'll find a lot of the alternative farming movements have curriculums. They're building curriculums to use in schools to actually try and broaden this knowledge, because like we said in the beginning, people don't know what it takes to grow something. I mean, I can plant 200 spinach plants, and because we're using the biodynamic organic permaculture route, I can lose up to 70% of that crop just to birds and snails and things like that. So it's very difficult. People think it's very easy, and it's not. And I think subconsciously people know it's not easy, because our ancestors had to do it all the time, every day. So that's why everybody's quite terrified of it, because it's not easy. But once the system's going, and once you're caring for it, it looks after itself. It just explodes, and it's beautiful. And like you say, it's very uplifting to people. And every now and again, now for the last couple of months, I'm so focused here on NFTs. I spend way too much in Twitter realm and on my computer working, and I'm neglecting my fields a bit. But I've started again. We've got a lot of moles, so I'm trying a new technique. I'm actually putting boards down under the sand and then blocking them off, so they're kind of like half buried, raised, land pieces. Because I'm not trying to farm as large scale as I was before. It's very expensive, and finance is not as abundant as it was before lockdown. I think everybody in the world is feeling a major crunch, and we're now at a new part in our psyche. We're all coming out of this pandemic, and we're rediscovering ourselves. And I think the opportunities are there for everybody to help and create something. And even if it just means taking a little bit of time out from your own day. And I don't think everybody's made or necessarily needs to run out and be a philanthropist and do delivery veg all the time and that kind of stuff. It's people have difficult lifestyles already, but every little bit counts.
Yeah, I applaud you for everything you're doing. And I all I was always talked about was I wish schools or even businesses. I shared something on my. I tweeted out something where they showed a lot of urban farming happening on top of rooftop in cities and stuff. And I think it should be so wonderful if that was possible to do today for schools. So that the kids can be fed with fresh fruit and stuff and vegetables. um, I think it's such an important thing, and now with the supply chain and all this mess and stuff. I don't know about you guys, but vegetables are outrageous where I live. I don't
You
even
know
know
that.
how much Carlos has to pay in Venezuela. I don't even want to know about that cost.
No, no, it's really high. And what you were talking at the beginning, Sundog, about the doubling of prices of food and the doubling prices or numbers of inflation here in Venezuela has been terrible too. And I think this is a giant wave in the planet now because post the lockdown now we have the war, as you said, and when I think this is getting heavy. But I wanted to recall something beautiful related to farming that was said by, I guess, Mark Twain, who said that you can know, and I love this, and whenever someone talks about farming, whatever the area is, I always remember this quote, and it's by Mark Twain, almost sure. He says, you can know exactly how many seeds are there inside an apple, but it's impossible to know how many apples are there inside one seed. Isn't it beautiful?
That is
Because
beautiful.
yeah,
That's a
because
T-shirt. That's beautiful.
yeah,
Lovely.
there is a T-shirt with that quote.
No, I was saying that it would make a fantastic T-shirt.
Okay, okay. I say no because it's probably someone could have made it because as I'm telling you, I think it was Mark Twain, the Huckleberry Finn writer, who said that, and it's just like it tells you the potential because and it's so hard because I had family. My parents were farmers in Canary Island, and I had a farmer. They died sorely a few years ago, and they were growing rice and sugar here, sugar cane and corn and stuff. And I really loved those trips. And when I was younger, I'm talking 40 years ago, 50 years ago, I was there as a kid. And for me, those were real magic trips. And seeing I got to know from very close how many troubles and how many enemies. I mean, just growing oranges, for example, there are so many things, little bugs, everything. I mean, there is a lot of things that you have poison that you have to kill. Maybe vegetables, maybe other plants, maybe insects. It's horrible, and then you are on the hands of the climate. One of the oldest poems I know, which is, by the way, is somehow a very erotic one, but it's so beautiful. It's with a farmer. It's a poem by in the year 60 only after Christ, and it says it's a farmer complaining in the night, and he said, "I was cursing the water that was damaging the head of my hut, and I was cursing the wind which was damaging my crops, my crops. Yeah, I guess that's the word. And then my girl came, and I blessed the rain which had dampened her dress, and I also blessed the wind because it blew off the candle." So it is incredible because it was just so many years ago, just like planting. And so the same thing, I mean, he was just like cursing the wind, but because it was damaging his plants and his crop. But then it was just like, oh, the same wind turn off the light of the candle. Okay, different story. There is a twist plot in that China little town. So I love that thing too. But the seed and the apple is more marvelous because how many millions of apples have come before the last apple we ate? And how many millions will be keep coming into the earth if we take care of the planet?
So it's about seven. I love that, by the way, colors. So it's 7:56. Brent, I'm gonna give you the last question of the night. How are you?
Uh, I'm I'm so intrigued to to be uh to be here tonight listening to an amazing NFT project, and happy to be here with an amazing Twitter Spaces host who is a dear friend of mine. And the question is it's not a question, but it's more of a comment from listening about your NFT project. I feel that your NFT project will help the needy and the disabled people who cannot afford food.
Yes, absolutely. We already do that, just with a small amount that we do weekly. We look after the elderly all the way through. Well, I won't say we. I'm just a facilitator and like a middleman through my farm. But Mama Mickey, who is the project that I'm supporting, supports all the elderly in the townships here, the women and the men with COVID. The land that we're looking at trying to raise the funds to buy is for an old age home for these people. So yeah, no, absolutely. We are. It's no. I'm not just focusing on one place or one thing. If it grows out of control, then it can spill over into a lot more areas. So yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Brent.
Thanks for letting me come up, Tanya.
Oh, my pleasure. So on that note, let's go ahead and do our closing thoughts. Again, I appreciate everyone for being here. And so, Sundog, can you want to give us some closing thought, and also, how can we get a hold of you for
My
your Wednesday space?
Sorry, I'm keep blocking myself. The Wednesday space is not necessarily just focused on Munchkin. It's innovative. It's the same kind of as yours. I've got another speaker coming. He's been doing backpacks and
We just lost you, or did I just lose? Did you guys lose me? Let me
I'm back.
find a.
I'm back.
Okay, there you go.
Sorry,
Okay, perfect. Go ahead.
I, I don't know.
I'm
I
gonna
don't know
pin
how
it to the
much you got of
nest.
that. I
No,
don't
we
know how
we
much you
missed the
got
whole
of that.
section. But the backpack, that was the last thing I heard.
Okay. Yeah. So it's basically a chat between myself and another friend that I've met online. And we're going to talk about innovation and this kind of stuff that we do and how we can move forward. It's not a space that's just a Munchkin Kids space at all. It's like I say, we're very early in the innovation of this project, and I'd like to take it further than me just delivering some veg. And so Brent's idea is great, but we do cover those fields. Um, you can go onto my profile, and if you go onto my link tree, at the bottom you'll see a link to my farm. So you can go and have a look there. You can see on our blog, what we've been doing. It's estimated that over the lockdown we've helped distribute about 1 million. It's just an estimate meals. So yeah, that's the best way to get hold of
Wow.
me.
Wow, thank you so much, and I can't wait to hear some more about this. We're loving this because we love following the project. So, Carlos, any final thoughts? Because I got to get going because I have to stream another project, I have to stream another space. I have Louis. He left. I'm doing music NFT now.
Wait. Okay, I okay. I having trouble with the tactile. No, I just want to congratulate Sander. Beautiful, beautiful art, beautiful feelings. You are a wonderful human being, and it has been a real honor for Tonya and myself to have you in our this landmark 25th program. We started in January, and we cannot believe we're already in our 8th month. It happens so fast. So I hope that your crops have all the sun they need, all the water they need, no bugs at all, and I wish you all the luck of the world in this heavy duty working of farming and giving food to this planet. Thank you for coming and accompanying us today.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you for being here. And we'll be back next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.
Bye, Sundog. God bless you. Thank you for coming.
Pleasure, Carlos. Thank you so much. Lovely meeting you. Bye-bye.